Chemical Cells and Batteries by KayScience.com. An electric current can be understood using this diagram, where there's a wire set up from point A to B, and in an electric current, the electrons flow from point A to point B. Now, in a chemical reaction, we may have a more reactive metal, A, and the less reactive metal, B. The more reactive metal loses an electron in this reaction, where the less reactive metal B gains that electron. So the more reactive metal A loses an electron, so it's oxidized, and the less reactive metal B gains an electron, so it's reduced. Now let's say we have this more reactive metal A and this less reactive metal B, and we connect these two metals by a wire. What will happen is that the electrons will flow from the more reactive metal toward the less reactive metal. And if a bulb is placed in that wire, the energy transferred by the electrons can be transferred to the bulb. So we can see how a potential difference can be created if there is a difference in reactivity between the metals. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. A chemical cell is set up by using a beaker with two different metals dipped into an electrolyte. The electrolyte surrounds the two different metals, and in this case, the metal on the left is copper and the metal on the right is zinc. Both have different reactivities. Connecting these two different metals are wires with a bulb. In chemical cells, the electrolyte is normally a salt solution or a dilute acid. So we already know zinc is more reactive and copper is less reactive. Because zinc is more reactive than copper, zinc has a higher tendency to lose electrons. Therefore, the zinc metal is oxidized. We can show what happens to zinc using a half equation, where zinc loses 2 electrons, becoming zinc ions. So these electrons flow from the zinc metal through the metal wire and through the bulb. So the zinc acts as the negative terminal in this chemical cell. As the electrons flow through the bulb, energy from the electrons is transferred to the bulb. These electrons continue flowing through the wire and then into the copper metal. Eventually, the current stops flowing if one of the reactants is used up, so no more electrons can flow. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. Chemical cells can only produce electricity if metals with different reactivities are used. This reactivity series shows a selection of metals where sodium is the most reactive and copper is the least reactive. Now, sodium and copper produce the largest potential difference when set up in a chemical cell. Metals next to each other, for example, iron and tin, produce the smallest potential difference as they have the lowest difference in reactivity between them, for example. And using the same metals produces no potential difference as there is no difference in reactivity between the same metals being used. These are important rules you need to know. It's question time. Attempt these questions to check your understanding. In this example of a chemical cell, there are two different metals of different reactivities. This represents one cell, and for example, it has a potential difference of 2.5 volts. In this diagram, there are two chemical cells set up in a circuit with each other. Therefore, this is a battery consisting of two cells, which has a potential difference in total of 5 volts. Pause the video here to practice the keywords. The answers will follow. Press pause to answer the questions. The answers will follow. If stuck, just rewatch the video. Press pause to go through your answers and make any corrections to your mistakes. And don't forget to visit KayScience.com for more videos, worksheets, and quizzes at KayScience.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe.